I'm speaking to you tonight to give you a report on the state of our nation's economy. The federal budget is out of control. And we face runaway deficits of almost $80 billion for this budget year that ends September 30th. It's time to try something different. And make no mistake about it, we can turn them around.
You can't comprehend how much of a scam Republican fiscal policy is until you know this stat. Since Ronald Reagan, Republicans have had one domestic fiscal policy. Some call it Reaganomics, some call it supply-side economics, and some call it Trickle-Down Economics. They all mean the same thing. Cut taxes for the rich, and the economy will boom so much that the economic growth will result in an increase in tax revenue and pay for all the things the American people want and need from their government. Everyone wins. Every Republican since Reagan has presented this strategy like it's a new amazing idea that's definitely going to work.
We're going to stop our deficits. We're going to do it very quickly.
But anyone that actually studies the U.S. national deficit data by year realizes the truth. I can't overstate this enough, so let me give you the facts as clear as possible. Since 1981 and the introduction of Trickle-Down Economics, 4 Republican presidents have been in power for a combined 24 years. Not a single one of those years did a Republican-led government post a lesser deficit than the deficit they inherited from their Democratic predecessor, even when adjusted for inflation. Not one single year. And in case you're wondering if that's just always the case for every administration, it's not. Just Republicans. Every Democratic president since 1981, 18 years in power, has never had a single year where they posted a deficit as large as the deficit their Republican predecessor left them with. It started with Reagan.
It's time to try something different.
Then his vice president George H.W. Bush followed suit and the deficits kept increasing.
Read my lips. No new taxes.
Then a Democrat becomes president, raises taxes on the rich, raises corporate taxes, and the deficit is cut in year 1 and every year after until producing 4 straight years of budget surpluses.
Tonight at midnight, America puts an end to 3 decades of deficits and launches a new era of balanced budgets and surpluses.
Republicans take over again, and George W. Bush immediately implements Reaganomics again with the Bush tax cuts.
We must give overcharged taxpayers some of their own money back,
handing out a major tax cut to the richest Americans. He immediately turns budget surpluses into budget deficits in year 1, produces massive deficits every year, and leaves his successor with the largest budget deficit in history. Barack Obama raises taxes on the rich by passing the net investment income tax and by reversing the Bush tax cuts for top-earning Americans.
Tax cuts for upper incomes will expire next year.
We can't afford it. And I refuse to renew them again.
And the deficit is cut in half during his term in office. A Republican comes into office and it's deja vu all over again.
Your plan, they say it would rise to 105% of GDP over the next 10 years.
Well, I say they're wrong because I'm going to create tremendous jobs.
Trump pushes the Trump tax cuts for the rich, tax revenue goes down, and the deficit explodes in the first 2 years of the Trump budget before being compounded by COVID. Biden, a Democrat, then decreases the deficit in his first year, and around we go. What does this budget data tell us about trickle-down economics?
You belong to a party that has green-lit a historic expansion of deficits and debt.
That it's a scam for America, that it has never worked, that it has never, even in a single year, produced the results Republicans told us it would. And the only way to stop this Republican scam is to stop voting them in.